friends, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be rating all the books I've read so far this year from worst to best. Honestly, this was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. I have a lot of 3.5 stars and 4 stars, and it just took a lot longer and was a lot harder than I thought. So let's get into it. So the first one, which will be my least favorite, I guess, of the year so far, is Not a Happy Family by Lupina. I don't know what it was about this. It was just boring. There was nothing interesting about it or exciting. It's just kind of like every other Lupina book ever. The characters were annoying and the mystery was annoying, and I just didn't have a good time. But next will be another thriller, Every Vow You Break by Peter Swanson, and I don't know what it is about his last few books that I've read, but there's something about the way he writes certain characters that I just don't click with. And you know, everybody loves The Kind Worth Killing by Peter Swanson, and I just feel like we're all waiting for that next book of his to just like blow us away like that one did, and we just haven't gotten it yet. Next is this short book, The Test by Sylvan Nuval, and it's not that I didn't like it. I liked it. It's just, it was too short, and I know it was done that way on purpose, but I think it could have been really cool and really good if it was a full-length novel. Next is actually a library book, but it was a Casey West, The Moment of Truth. And Casey West books I rate differently than normal books because her style is just, you know, easy. It's not meant to be anything deep, but this one I didn't like as much because the main character in the beginning was pretty annoying. And if I'm gonna read a short YA, I don't want to feel annoyed for more than half of it, so that's just why I didn't like it as much. Next is The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, and this was different than I expected. I thought it would be a lot more like hijinks and like fast-paced, and it just wasn't that way. I do plan to continue reading the series. I have to know what happens, but it just wasn't quite meeting my expectations. Okay, next is Notes on an Execution. This one was all over Bookstagram for a while, and it was kindly sent to me by the publisher, so thank you very much. But I just didn't click with the writing style. It was really slow, and I thought the premise was really interesting, hearing from the perspective of someone on death row, and I think I would really like that storyline if it was done just a little bit differently. I didn't like that we were kind of being tricked into sympathizing with a serial killer, and it was too slow. Okay, next is Blacktop Wasteland, and once again, this is another one that I didn't dislike it. I really liked the writing, and I liked the pacing, and I thought it was really good. It was just, it took a lot longer to get to the exciting bits as I would have liked, but I still really like it, and I definitely plan to pick up more from this author. Next is One Italian Summer. Okay, so me and this author, we have a hard time. I loved The Dinner List. It was one of my favorite books of the year. I read it, and I was hoping that I had found a new favorite author, but then I read her follow-up, In 5 Years, and I know that people love that book, so don't come for me, but it's one of my least favorite books of all time. So I went into this one with really low expectations, and it was better for me than In 5 Years. I really liked the setting. It's in Italy. Who doesn't like an Italian setting? And I listened to the audiobook, which is narrated by Lauren Graham, and we all love Lauren Graham, right? So that definitely made it a better experience for me, but it still wasn't my favorite thing ever, and I don't know if I should keep reading her books or what. But next is The Death of Jane Lawrence by Caitlin Starling. And this book, it started out so strong for me. I loved the Gothic vibes. It felt very like Rebecca-esque to me, and I love Rebecca, but towards the middle and the end, it just got really repetitive. I know the magic part probably was a little bit weird for some people, and it wasn't even that for me. It just felt like it got stuck, like it kept repeating itself, and like I kept waiting for something else to happen. And I liked the beginning, I liked the end, but there was like a whole chunk that just was way too repetitive. But I love this cover. It's one of my favorite covers. Okay, next is Hidden Pictures. I think this is such a cool concept. I loved the actual pictures inside of the story. I think that's so cool. I'm trying to find one. It's about this kid who starts drawing these like scary pictures and showing his nanny, and it's kind of her figuring out what's going on and why he's doing that. And I thought it was a really cool concept. There were some reveals that were kind of iffy, and I didn't quite know what to think of them, but I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it. Okay, next up is another Casey West. I read quite a few Casey West this summer just because they're fast and they're easy, and they get me out of reading slumps pretty easy. Maybe this time was a cute one. I don't really have any complaints about it, just it wasn't, you know, it's a Casey West. It's not the best thing I've ever read, but I really had a good time with this. It makes a really great summer read, and I do recommend it. Next is Homicide and Halo Halo. This is a little cozy mystery series. The first one was Arsenic and Adobo. I enjoyed this series. I thought the first one was better. This one is a little bit slow, and it's just not the most exciting storyline. So once again, I enjoyed it, and I will continue on in the series, but it wasn't life-changing. Next is the Friendship Pact. This is the second in a series of, the first one is in my stack too, but this is the second in a series, and it's just one of those, you know, small town romance based series, and they all have different characters, and this one was okay. I liked the main characters, but I didn't like, you know, okay, so something about me is in romance is miscommunication trope. It's my least favorite thing in the world. Like, it's so frustrating. I always am so frustrated when I'm reading that. So this has this a little bit, and the rest of the story didn't make up for that trope for me. Okay, so next is another library book that I don't have with me, but it was A Perilous Undertaking, which is the second in the Victoria Speedwell series, and I liked it, but I felt a little bit disappointed for it being a follow-up to A Curious Beginning, which I loved. But I'm hopeful that, because it's a pretty long series, that the next one will be better. I just didn't love the mystery, but I still enjoyed getting to spend time with Veronica and Stoker. Okay, the next one is Confessions. I read this because it was a book club pick for Books and Lala. She put it on my radar, and it was a very unique read. I enjoyed it very much. It's a little slow in places, and you kind of have to, you know, it's very unrealistic. But I still had a good time, and I really liked it. I would read more from this author for sure. Before I get into the next stack, do you guys like my Costco plant? It was a very good decision. I'm very happy about it. Let me take a deep breath. I feel like I'm talking too much too fast, and it's making me hot. Next is The Wedding Date by Jasmine Guillory. This is the first Jasmine Guillory I read, and I really enjoyed it. But it's just not my favorite romance. I liked it. I liked the characters. It was sweet, but just didn't, you know, it's not my new favorite, but I will definitely continue in the series. I've heard the further you get in the series, the better it gets, so we shall see about that. Next is We Were Never Here. I was pleasantly surprised by this one. I listened to the audiobook just kind of as something, you know, sometimes I just pick up what's available at the library that I own just to kind of get through something, but I was pleasantly surprised by this one. I really liked the mystery and how it played out. I thought it was just a quick, easy thriller. I don't think it'll change your life, but I do recommend it if you want something fast this summer. Okay, next is The Family You Make, which is the first in that series I was talking about. I really liked this one. I liked it so much more than the second one. It's very sweet, cute. I liked the family dynamic. I liked the characters. It just did a lot for me, so. Next is, a book that I got from Libro is Counterfeit. I really liked it. It's really short. If you listen to the audiobook, I think it's maybe 5 hours. I like when you get tricked by the author. That's one of my favorite things, and it did it really well. It's a great fast listen, and it's done really well. Okay, next is Dry by Neil Shusterman and Jared Shusterman. I listened to this at the beginning of the year and I thought it was incredible. It's about California kind of being cut off from the water supply and how quickly that kind of changes everything. Survival story. It made me very thirsty and made me want to collect water in my basement and become a prepper. It made me want to become a prepper. So I feel like it did a really great job. I just was so thirsty the whole time. Okay, next is The Lost Apothecary. This was, I feel like, a big hit last year, but I read it this year and I liked it. It's multiple perspectives, and there's definitely one perspective that I preferred over the other. I liked the little magical bits of it, and I liked the historical bits. I thought it was really good, but there were a few things I didn't like about it, but it's fine. It was a great read. I don't think it's my favorite like it is for a lot of people, but I did enjoy it, and I think I would recommend it. Okay, next is my last Casey West, which is Sunkissed. This one was really fun. It's really short. It would be a great summer read, something to bring to the beach. It's very much a nod to Dirty Dancing, which is one of my favorite movies, so I had a really good time with that. So that would be, if I was to recommend a Casey West from the three that I'm talking about, it would definitely be Sunkissed, followed by Maybe This Time. Okay, next is Reckless Girls by Rachel Hawkins. She wrote The Wife Upstairs, which I read 2 years ago, and I really liked it. It was a spin-off, or whatever it's called, of Jane Eyre, which is my favorite book of all time, so I really liked it. I liked finding all the Easter eggs for Jane Eyre, and this one I didn't see too many good reviews for it, so I went into it with my expectations pretty low, but I actually really liked it. I liked our main character. I don't think the mystery was like anything earth-shattering, but I liked it. It talks a lot about, there's a lot of lingo and kind of the beginning of boat talk, and it just makes me laugh because my in-laws live on their boat. And so like there's a certain type of person that you meet or you encounter when you're boating, and I just feel like she nailed it really well. It made me laugh. Okay, next is Lessons in Chemistry. This is probably going to be in a lot of people's favorites this year. This is a fan favorite, a love of many people's lives, and I totally get it. It's really good. The only reason that I think I didn't love it as much is I found it a little bit slow, and like not enough was happening for me to like stay invested and interested through the whole thing. But I did become attached to these characters, and I definitely wanted to see how it ended, but I just needed I think it could have been a little bit shorter, or just like a little bit more action in it. I don't know why doesn't this seem so thick? It's only $390. I thought it looks a lot bigger. But I love this color. Can we have more books this color? Okay, next is A Curious Beginning, which is what I talked about in the Veronica Speedwell series. I've been holding on to this for years, and it just felt like the right time. I've kind of been in this like cozy vibe, and I've heard that this is one of the better cozy mystery series, so I was excited to pick it up. I just love these characters. I think they're great. The mystery, the end was kind of weird. It kind of goes a direction that I didn't expect. I didn't dislike it, but I don't know. I think it could make it more interesting as the series goes on, but it just was not what I expected. But I'm very excited to continue to spend time with these characters. Whew. My back's starting to hurt. I thought it would be easier to sit on the floor instead of having these books flown all over, but this old lady is having a hard time. Okay, next is Cover Story. This was another one that was everywhere for a hot minute, and it's very unique, and I totally get it. This is one of those ones again where everything you believe is a lie, and it's great. And I don't want to give too much away with this one, but it's super fast. A lot of it is told in like IMs and emails and stuff, so it flies by really quick. It's a fun read. I would recommend it. Next is Portrait of a Thief. I really enjoyed this one. It's marketed as Ocean's 11 kind of heist story, and Ocean's 11 are some of my favorite movies, so I was really excited to try this, and it definitely has those vibes. My only complaint is, once again, it was a little bit slow. I think it needs a little bit more action, more heists, more hijinks, but I became very, very attached to these characters, and I kept thinking about them days after I finished the book, so I feel like that's always a good indicator of a good story. This is a debut, I believe, and I will definitely pick up more from this author. Oh, next is the next series, the next book in the series, the Wayward Children series, which is Where the Drowned Girls Go. And I think that this might be my favorite book in the series. I think the third one would be my other favorite, but I really enjoyed, I don't know, it almost feels like the story kind of like took a turn. Like, I don't know, like it just feels different, and I really liked it. I loved Cora as a main character, and I kind of hope that like with Jack and Jill, they have multiple books, I would definitely read another book about Cora. I think she brings a lot as a character, and I would love to see her kind of blossom. Next is One by One by Ruth Ware. It reminds me a lot of the only Shirley Lupina book that I like, which is called An Unwanted Guest, but this was just a snowed in whodunit kind of mystery. You know, there's a action scene at the end, and I had a really good time. Ruth Ware is very hit or miss with me, and my favorite book from her is The Turn of the Key. I thought that was amazing. I thought that was her height. I think that was what I've been waiting for from her. So, but I did enjoy this one a lot. I just got my pre-order of her new book, The It Girl, and I'm thinking about vlogging myself reading it. Let me know if that's something that interests you. I don't know how interesting it would be, but I'm gonna try. Okay, next is Finley, Donovan Knocks Him Dead. This is the second in the Finley Donovan series, and I had a really great time. I love Finley and Vero. They're just the best duo, and I kind of am hoping that we get more of Vero's story and as more of the books come out. But this was great. I love how the author kind of like turned the story on its head a little bit, and I just had a really good time. The third one comes out next year, and I'm hoping that I get an arc. So send me an arc, please. Next is The Love of My Life by Rosie Walsh. I read Ghosted. If you look at my Goodreads, which I should probably link below, I didn't rate it because I didn't know how I felt about Ghosted at the end of it. It like really kind of messes with your feelings, like between right and wrong, and like very complicated for me, but I think I loved it. I still think about it sometimes. But The Love of My Life is her next book, and there's like a little bit of a mystery, and there's a love story, and it all kind of comes together, and I really like her writing. I will continue to pick up her books. I really like them. I think she does a really great job. Okay, next is Fool Me Once by Ashley Winstead. I love Ashley Winstead. As we know, she wrote, what's it called? In My Dreams I Hold a Knife, which is one of my favorite thrillers of all time. And so she came out with romance because she does it all. She's multi-talented. And I really liked it. I liked our main character, Lee. She's fun. It's a second chance romance. If that's not your vibe, this might not be for you, but I thought it was good, and I love her writing. She's an excellent writer, and there's lots of banter, and it's just really fun. Okay, next. Are we exhausted yet? I can't imagine. I've only read 46 books this year. I can't imagine these people that have already read over 100 books. I don't think you could do this because it's too much. Next is As Good as Dead by Holly Jackson. It is the finale to the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series, which I just really enjoyed. This is probably the best YA mystery series that's out there. Holly Jackson is a really talented writer, and she created some really great characters and mysteries, and it's just all around excellent. This one gets very dark. I think you can kind of tell, judging by like the covers, how they become darker with each installment. This one's dark. It kind of blows my mind that it's still considered YA, but it is really good. It was a very epic way to end a series. Last Thing He Told Me, I got the audiobook from this one. There's some kind of leaf in it. On a whim. It's very short. If you're looking for a quick audiobook, I really recommend this one. The narration is great, and it flies by. This had all the things that I like in a mystery thriller. Great pacing, great characters, great writing. It's everything that you need in a fast thriller. So I do recommend this one, and I personally believe that it lives up to the hype. I think I listened to it literally in a day. I was so hooked. We Were Kings by Court Stevens. I have not seen this anywhere. It was sent to me from a tour company and from the publisher. Otherwise, I don't know if I would have heard of it either, but it was really strong, and I kind of hope that more people start to pick it up. It's about 20 years ago, 18-year-old Frances was convicted for murdering her best friend Cora King and sentenced to death. Now the highly debated Accelerated Death Penalty Act has passed, giving Frankie 30 final days to live. Surprising everyone, one of the King family members sets out to challenge the woefully inadequate evidence and potential innocence of Frankie Queen. So it's kind of this girl going and trying to investigate her aunt's conviction and figuring out if she is really guilty, and kind of like unraveling this family mystery. And I thought it was really good. I mean, the ending is kind of bananas, but I really liked it. I was totally invested, and I think it should get more hype. The Last Fight by Julie Clark. I read this so fast, and I was so invested, and I really, really enjoyed it. I'm excited to pick up more by Julie Clark. I was saying earlier, like, when there's two perspectives, one usually you prefer over the other, but I was totally invested in both, and I was excited to read from both, and I was just totally enraptured with this story. Okay, next is Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson. This is incredible. It's very powerful, very strong. It's very well written. It's heartbreaking. It's a lot of things, but it's definitely worth reading, and I thought it was incredible, and I'm excited to pick up more by Tiffany D. Jackson. Next is Book Lovers by Emily Henry. Emily Henry is just amazing. She is such a good writer. She really, I think, found her place with romance. I know she wrote YA before this, and I think I read one of them, and I liked it, but she has really found her strength in romance. I love her banter and her characters, and it's all around just a good time. I wasn't sure how I would feel about this one in the beginning, but as it goes on, it becomes just lovely, and the ending was so good, and I cried, and it was great. So, lived up to the hype for me. Okay, this last stack, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I had a very hard time deciding what order to put these ones in. I would consider them all to be favorites of the year, but I had to put them in some kind of order. Just know that I love them all kind of equally. Okay, so The Diamond Eye by Kate Quinn. Kate Quinn is just my everything when it comes to historical fiction. She's so talented. She does so much research. Her characters all have their own unique voice. You can distinguish all of her books from each other so well, and I just really enjoyed this one. I mean, our main character, Mila, she is a badass. She is so cool, and I loved reading her story so much, and I can't wait for the next Kate Quinn, The Beautiful Ones. I loved this. This is the author of Mexican Gothic, which is one of my favorite books of 2 years ago, 2020, I think. I picked this one up. I got it it was on sale at a used bookstore, and I picked it up, and I loved it so much. It took me completely by surprise how much I loved it. It's magical, it's romancy, it's historical. I just really enjoyed it. It's a complete surprise, and I think it's been out for a while, so maybe when it came out it got a lot more hype, but I don't see anyone talking about it, but you should read this one. It's great. Next, the Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James. I love Simone St. James. I've only read The Sundown Motel in this one, I think, but I have her other one and I need to read it. But I love this. I love how her books are ghosty, and they're actually ghosty and not just, you know, your mind playing tricks on you. There's a lot of good story and good spooky vibes, and I really liked it. I love anything that has to do with true crime. This one has I think she has a blog. Yeah, true crime blog, and I love that. I'm a true crime fan, so this was excellent. Okay, next is The Rose Code, another Kate Quinn. I don't know, is this my favorite Kate Quinn? I always consider The Huntress my favorite Kate Quinn. The strength for me was each voices of the character. I felt like they were so strong, and I knew exactly whose perspective I was reading to just from the tone of the chapter, and I really liked it. And I love, you know, it's a typical historical World War II story, but I'm always interested in those, and I don't think I'll ever get bored of them. So this was really strong for me. Okay, I got 3 left, right? Okay, The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. I can't believe I'm saying this is in my top 3 because I did not have high expectations, and I know a lot of people don't like it, and I get it. It is so different for him. It is something completely unexpected, and I think that he went for it, and I think that he nailed it, and I liked it. I understand completely why people aren't liking it. I totally do. But like, I sat there after I finished it and I had to think about it. I was like, did I like it? Did I hate it? Did I like it? Did I hate it? And then I decided I loved it. The first half was a little slow, and I definitely agree that it could have definitely picked up the pace or been a little bit shorter, but I liked it. Please tell me if you liked it. Or if you didn't like it, tell me your feelings. Okay, next is my favorite romance of the year, which is Duke Ashley. This is so unexpected for me. I did not think that I would like this so much, but I still think about it. It's a friends to lovers. It's so sweet. They are just the cutest little beans together. I love them so much. The author did a really good job of making the friendship the priority, and so it was natural for things to build, and I like that. I don't like feeling like things are forced. I thought it was so good, and it's a little bit Christmassy and reminds me a little bit of Princess Diary vibes. There's like a little made-up country that we're in, and I just really liked it. I highly recommend it. I guess my number one, I don't know if this is my number one. Like I said, all of the last 7 or so are all my favorites. So, but I'm gonna say, I guess, The Sea of Tranquility, or just Sea of Tranquility by Emily St. John Mandel. This was incredible. I did not expect it, because like I said, I didn't care for Station 11. It wasn't my thing, and I didn't think that this author was for me, but this one just blew me away. I loved every part of it. I don't know what exactly to say about it. It just had, I love all the futuristic stuff. She did a really good job talking about pandemics and not overwhelming the reader with it, but still making it known, and kind of like the futuristic tones, everything. I thought it was so good. And I'm definitely going to try The Glass Motel next, because I haven't read that one. But okay, I'm exhausted. Are you exhausted? This is all the books that I've read so far this year. Hopefully I got them all. But thank you for being here, for watching another video. I appreciate all of you, and I will see you next time. Bye. Hi, me again. Something I didn't consider when I decided to start a booktube channel is how messy it is. Look at this. Now I have to put all this away. This isn't probably even that bad compared to some other people's more intricate videos, but my lord. Didn't think about that. Now I have to go put all this away.